guys, it's Michelle from Little Mama's House, and I'm back. I've been on a break for a while, just dealing with some family stuff, and then the beginning of the summer, busy and crazy as usual. But I have been working on customer bags. I just haven't been filming, so things are finally starting to settle down here, and so I thought I'd get back to doing some filming and doing some tutorials. So I am coming at you today with one of the most highly requested videos. I know a lot of people have been asking for this for a while, and I am going to show you how I clean the interior of a Louis Vuitton purse. So what I have here is one of my customers' Neverfulls, and it's very hard to see, but I'll turn it inside out and you can see the inside is very, very dirty. They bought this pre-loved, and when it came, the inside was the whole bag was in worse condition than what she thought. And one of the biggest problems was that the inside was really dirty. So she sent it in to me, and I'm going to today show you finally how to clean the inside of one of your Louis Vuitton bags. Now this method will work on a bag with any of the canvas backed materials. It also will work on some of the softer Alcantara linings as well. You just have to be a little bit more gentle when you rub on those, because you don't want to destroy the nap of the fabric. But the same products that I'm going to use on this will work on any of those. Just adjust your method accordingly. Take into account that you have to be a little bit more gentle on certain linings, but this will work on any of them. So first and foremost, let me go over with what I'm going to use. Now my favorite product to clean the inside of any of the bags is this. It's called Dyzolv. It's from Dyson, and it's actually a spot carpet cleaner, but it works great on the canvas. It's not really for canvas. It's not going to hurt it, and this is ideal for grease, food, drinks, general soil, wool, stain-resistant carpets. It's pH neutral and it's environmentally friendly. And I find that this has the least disgusting odor of all of the cleaners I use, which is a big deal. So this is my favorite. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on eBay. I think stores that carry Dyson vacuums, some of them have this, but it is very pricey. I think it was like $15 for just this little can, and you don't need a lot of it, but you go through, if you're cleaning bags often, you go through it quite a bit. So this is a pricey product. It does work well. But another product that I sometimes do use and that works very well is this little cheapo, and this is literally from the dollar store. I think it's from Family Dollar or Dollar Store. And it's called LA's Totally Awesome All-Purpose Cleaner. And it works great. This works very well on ink stains. It works very well on general dirt. It's cheap. It's only $1 for a big container of it. But I don't like the smell of it. So if you're working in a bag where you have to stick your head in, that you can't flip the bag inside out, just be careful when you're working with this, because the last thing you want to do is stick your head, spray it into the bag and then stick your head in a bag filled with cleaning fumes. Not good. So I do use this. I prefer this. And sometimes one of them will work better on a particular stain than something else. It just depends on the stain. It depends on how long the stain has been in there. It depends on what the stain is made of. There's a lot of factors. So I just like to keep a variety of stuff on hand so that if I encounter something that I can't get out, I have another option. Then the third thing that I like to use is called Zout. This is actually a laundry stain remover, and I use this on really tough stains. And it's just oil, grease, tomato, crayon, blood, dirt, makeup. It's really meant for your laundry, but basically it's a thick gel, and you put it on the stain, let it sit for a little while, and then you rub it off with some water. And this works great too for like super stubborn spots. So the other thing I don't have here, because I don't need it on this bag, but will also be a good item to add to your cleaning arsenal, is isopropyl alcohol. And that works very well on specifically ink stains. So if you have a pen, that's one of the most common stains I see. If you have a pen that bursts in your purse or leaks in your purse, the isopropyl alcohol is what you want to try first. And to use it, you just apply it to a rag, put it onto the stain, press it. You don't want to rub, because that's going to spread the ink. Never rub on an ink stain. You just want to blot it. And it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of alcohol and a lot of blotting, but it will come out. You just keep at it and eventually the stain will lift. So this bag in particular, it doesn't have any ink in it, so I just didn't pick up any alcohol. You can keep that in your arsenal to have for very bad stains. And of course I have gloves because I'm working with chemicals and don't want to get it all over your hands. Okay, and then I just have a plain cotton dish towel, and I have like an arsenal of ones that I just use for cleaning, and I'm going to go get it slightly damp. Okay, so my cotton towel is slightly damp, and when I'm talking slightly damp, I really mean very minimally. When I wring this, nothing is going to come out of it. You don't want water dripping out of it. You don't want too much water when you clean anything on your purse, even when you do the leather. You don't want too much water on there because water is going to cause it to dry out and to crack and all those awful things that we never want to happen to our purse. Too much water is going to do that. So really, when I say damp, like if you even look, parts of it are still rather dry. You just want it to be slightly damp, just enough so that you can rub it easily. So here's our subject. It is a Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM in Dimiraben, and it has the red lining. So what I'm going to do, and if you can flip a bag when you're working on it inside out, I always suggest you do that because then you can keep your face out of the chemicals, out of the cleaner. So carefully turn, if you can, your bag inside out. If not, I suggest you open it as wide as you can and try to, get as much of the leather and canvas away from where you're going to be cleaning and working as you can, just to protect it. So I'm just working on getting this inside out, and sometimes it's tough. It will be worth it, trust me. Okay, so now we have our bag inside out. And the first thing we want to do, I'm just going to tuck all the leather pieces in safely away. And then the first thing we want to do is just take our cloth and just rub it over, take off any loose dirt, dust. It's going to be in the corners. It's going to be on there. There's going to be a lot of loose junk in the bottom of the bag. If it's dirty, if it's been sitting, it's going to be in there. Even on the cleanest bags, it just accumulates in the corners. So you just want to give it a wipe down. And you can see how dirty this is there. Take a look, since you couldn't see it before. You just want to give it a good wipe down, get all this loose crud off, shake it out, make sure you're protecting your work surface so that none of this garbage goes all over your furniture or wherever you're working. And sometimes what's perceived as like, oh, it's really, really dirty. It's actually just accumulated sort of dust and crud on the bag. And once that's gone, it's gonna look even much better. Even if you stopped here and just wiped it out with a damp cloth, it's gonna improve it, just to get this accumulation of crud off the bag. But you don't have to go crazy because that's why we have the cleaners. Be careful, avoid the leather if you can. And at this stage, a little bit of water isn't going to hurt it, so. Okay, so I'm just going to shake any remaining particles off out of it. And I apologize if I'm not in frame. I'm just short. It's easier for me to stand up to do this. So, okay. Now what I like to do is just clean off my work surface because I don't want to put the bag back onto any of this dust and grime. So I'm just going to do a quick clean, just to wipe it down a little bit. The worst thing to do is to clean the bag and then stick it down back into all the crap that just came out of it. So I'm just going to quickly scoop this up. So now that we have done the initial sort of wipe down and gotten rid of anything that just comes right off of the purse, I'm going to go ahead and start on the bottom of the bag. This is just where I start. You can start wherever you want. And again, just remember to keep tucking in any leather pieces that pop out. You don't want to get the cleaner on it if you can avoid it. And I am going to start with the Dyzolv. And literally what I do is I take it and I spray the bag and saturate it. And you don't want to soak it, but you want to get anywhere that there's, you know, dirt. And on this particular bag, you can see it's the bottom part is very, very dirty. So, all right, and then you want to let that sit for about 35, 40 seconds. On bigger stains, maybe a little bit longer. But I'm going to let it sit, and then I'm going to start scrubbing with my cloth. So while this is sitting, I just want to take a quick moment and give a shout out to the extremely, extremely talented Ashleigh K, who did our new channel art. Thank you so much, Ashleigh. I love it. Her business is called Ashes.Graphics, and she is one of the most talented artists I've ever come across. And I put the link to her shop down below because her work is awesome. It's totally worth taking the time to check out. So again, thank you, Ashleigh, for the amazing new character. Okay, so guys, so this is sat for about 30 seconds, and now I'm just going to come in, and I'm going to just start gently rubbing. And it doesn't really matter, you know, if you do this in a circular motion, if you just go straight. I'm not pressing too hard. I don't want to affect the grain of the canvas or anything, but you come in and you start rubbing. Now again, if you have an ink spot on here, you're not going to rub that. That is going to make it spread. You're going to blot an ink spot, and I would take care of any ink spots before you start doing like a general cleaning, because when you do the general cleaning, you are going to be rubbing. So if you have a bag with a bunch of ink spots and it needs to be, you know, just cleaned up in general, take care of the ink first and then go back in and clean once the ink is out. Again, that's just my personal way of sort of doing it. I have had ink blots run on me before, and it's not fun. It just makes it more hard to clean it all up. So, you know, just think out a plan of attack, I guess, sort of based on what's in the bag. And that's always the best way, I think, to approach cleaning it. And I don't know if you can see that on there. It is starting to come up. And, you know, there's a lot of spots on this bag. So it's going to take a while. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 rounds of cleaning. So as with anything with one of these purses, you don't want to rush it. You want to take your time. You want to let things dry. And you want to just, you know, work carefully. Be prudent. Because there's no point in doing it if you're going to rush through and not get it clean. At that point, you might as well just, you know, not bother. So make sure that you're really taking your time, getting all the areas that you see that are dirty scrubbed. This isn't really like a spray it on and it's a miracle and it looks perfect in like 20 seconds. No, this is, you know, a couple days process sometimes. And, you know, you never want it to get too wet. So you have to work in patches and spots and do it as you can. So flip it over to get the trim on the other side. This trim on the bottom of these folds out, and there's a lot of like crud that gets stuck under it, so you want to make sure that you're unfolding that, unfurling it, and getting the crud out. And if your towel starts to get too dirty, just go rinse it out and keep working. You don't need a million towels for this. I would not use a paper towel because that tends to crumble up, and then you get paper towel little like fuzzies in the bottom of the bag, and those can be just as pain in the butt to clean out as the dust stuff. So now, one of the other big questions I get a lot is what about odors in the bag? And so this is sort of a twofold question. A lot of times an odor in the bag can get taken care of by simply cleaning. Doing exactly what I'm doing now will also take care of an odor. But if you have an odor and there's no there's no stains, it just smells bad, you want to use a product called Ozium, O-Z-I-U-M, I think, and I'll link it below. And it is a spray. It's meant, you can probably get it at like an AutoZone or even sometimes Walmart, I think. I don't know, maybe Walmart. In the car care section, it is for like when you buy a pre-owned car, I guess, and they refurbish it. That's what they use to get any smells out. So it's very, very powerful, and it does get odors out. It works extremely well. It's very effective. You do not want to get it on any leather. That's another story that I'll go into another time, but it can blacken your leather, so you want to be careful with it. But it will take the smell out of even the most stinky, disgusting bags. Some people complain that they think that the Ozium itself has an odor, and it does have a smell to it, but it dissipates. It sometimes takes like 24 hours, and then the product itself doesn't smell the best, but once it airs out and dissipates, then both the original stink and the stink of the product go away. So yeah, that's Ozium, and I'll link it below. Anyway, so here we have one round of the cleaning with the Dyzolv, and it's already some came off. It's still looking rather dingy though, so it's clearly going to need some more. So this time we'll just for comparison's sake, we'll use the LA Totally Awesome. And normally if I'd start with Dyzolv, sorry, this smells bad. You can wear a mask when you do this, but this is why I said turn the bag inside out, because I can't take it. If I try to spray that and stick my head into a bag, ugh, so gross. Anyway, usually if I start with Dyzolv, I'll finish with the Dyzolv and just stick with it the whole round through, but I want to, show you all the products. So I let this sit on, and this one, when you can sort of see it, when you spray it on, it sort of fizzes, it bubbles a little bit. I don't know if that's it working or what, I'm not a chemist, but I generally sit and wait until it stops bubbling. So whatever's in it does make it bubble up a little bit, and you at least get the sensation oh, maybe it's doing something. But in my opinion, it doesn't work any better than that Dyzolv, and I find that for big stains or ink stains and stuff, the Dyzolv seems to work better, at least for me. But you ask a million people the same question and you're going to get a million different answers. So that's why use what you feel comfortable with, what you can get, try it out, spot test it, make sure that you're comfortable using it. Okay, so that Dyzolv sat, that Totally Awesome sat for about 30 seconds, and now I'm going to come in and do the same thing and just start scrubbing. And don't worry about too much about any little lint pieces or anything like that. That's all going to come out, because the last step that I like to do is hit the bag with a lint roller before I turn it inside out once it's all cleaned, and that'll get any stray little grossness flakes that are still left in there. So don't worry too much about that. Just try to focus on the big spots, and you can see here, I'll show you close up. Sorry, I should have gotten a white cloth. But you can see the dirt in it starting to come out. And you just keep working thusly. And you know what? Not every stain always comes out. You know, everybody watches. I get a lot of people who watch my video and they say, oh, but you cleaned it and you did it on yours and you showed how you did it. Well, not every stain is cleanable. Not every stain comes out. Not every bag comes out as well as others. I mean, I can't clean everything. It's just the sad truth is that there's just some stains that don't come out. And, you know, if that's the case, maybe bring it to your dry cleaner, see if they have something that might work better than the products you have. Just, you know, be careful, make sure that it's a product that's gonna, you know, ask them what they use, ask them how they do it, explain to them the value of the bag and, you know, all that before you send it off. But, you know, they are pre-owned bags, and especially when you're buying it from somebody you don't know, you have no idea what they put in their bag. I mean, one time I had a bag and I swear an entire compact's worth of blush was in the bottom of that bag, and try as I might, I could not get it all out. I mean, it was greatly improved, and if you clean it, it's going to look better than when you started, but I couldn't get it all. There's just no way. And so, you know, have a realistic expectation when you set out of what you can and can't clean and what you expect it to look like when it's done, and just, you know, do your best. So, and this does require elbow grease. It's not something that's just super easy to, you know, if you don't have a lot of stains, it's super easy, but if you have stains, it's going to take you a while. So there we are. That's like after 2. So there's not much difference between the Dyzolv and the Totally Awesome. But I do want to show you now. I have, if you look closely here, there's like a very dark stain at the top. So we're going to use the Zout on that. And I'll show you how that works. So what I do is I open it. And then it's just a little drop. There's a couple other little ones here. This is pretty thick and gelatinous, so, you know, be careful. Don't drip it everywhere. It's runny, but it'll pretty much stay where you put it. It's not like the others that spray on and they just sort of go everywhere. This is sort of a thick, gloopy, sticks to the stain type of product. And this I'm going to leave on for probably a good, again, 30-40 seconds. And then when I'm ready, I'll just wipe it off. And this, I find that this one does really well on like food sort of stains or thicker stains. Somebody spilled candy inside one once. This got it out. So, you know, you just have to try different things. Try your arsenal of cleaning supplies until you find what really works on your particular stain. It would amaze you what people put in their bags. And I guess this is a good time to say, this is why I always use a purse organizer. Just, you know, make sure that I'm not contributing to the stained bag market. And this, the Zout doesn't really have an odor, so the only one I'm working with today that's a little bit stinky is the Totally Awesome. And I try not to do this when Anthony is hovering. He's at camp today, so, you know, I don't want to fill my house with stinkiness and chemical smells and all that nasty stuff. So just, you know, take precautions, be careful, work in an open area, don't, you know, sit in a closet and spray the chemicals in your bag. You know, take it out, do it somewhere where you have fresh air. I know a lot of people say they just take it outside and work at it in the sun. You can do that too. Okay, so again, this is really just a keep going until it's clean type of process, but this is where we are so far. It's getting better. So I'm gonna let that area dry for a little while and move on to do the sides. So I just fold it as flat as I can get it. And I'm gonna fold the pocket up for now and then just spray it down. Now here you do want to be a little bit careful not to spray onto the leather trim. And again, my straps all came out. But you want to be careful not to spray it onto the leather trim. So I just use one hand to cover it. And I come back in with my Dyzolv and just start spraying. And this is not really super runny either. So, and yes, it's liquid and it sprays, but if I don't spray it on the leather, it's not gonna really, you don't want to spray so much that it's like running down the sides of the bag, you know what I mean. And I'm also gonna get the back of the pocket. All right, we're gonna let that sit and then we're gonna scrub. All right, that's been about 30 seconds and now I'm just gonna come in, and you can try leaving it for longer or shorter. I find that the shorter just works a little bit for it. Well, that's just what works for me. That's just how I do it. But you can try leaving it on for longer. I don't think it makes a difference. Again, look at the instructions too on the product. The Dyzolv just says about 30 seconds, so that's just what I do. But you can try it a little longer. It's not gonna, I'm not gonna like eat through or anything. It's not gonna hurt it. Okay, so I'm just gonna work my way around, rubbing at any spots I see, rubbing it all off. You also can use, if you have like a soft bristled cleaner's brush or a toothbrush. Some people use that. I actually do sometimes use a toothbrush. I just didn't go grab one. And on a couple of these stubborn spots, I might end up going back and using the toothbrush just to really get in there. But it's not like, it's not absolutely necessary. You can do it without it. If you do use the toothbrush, you want to use a soft bristled brush, not a super stiff brush. Okay, so that's round one on the side of the bag, and you still see there's still, so that was sort of like what it looked like before if you look at the like white splotches and stuff all over there. And then this was after one round of cleaning. Most of those are starting to fade and lighten up. There's the back of the pocket. And I'm just gonna come back in and do it again, and then we're gonna move on to the top of the pocket, and I'm just gonna play some music for you. There's nothing different that I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna work my way around the bag until one round of cleaning is fully completed. Okay, so there you have it. I've done one full round on this bag. So it's still wet. but you can tell that a lot of the, or at least I can tell because I'm sitting here right in front of it, that a lot of the general dirt came up when I went to go rinse out my cloth. It rinsed out sort of a disgusting light brownish color, so I know it's picking up a lot of the dirt. The pocket still has some of these weird white stains, so we're going to come back and we're going to work on that again. But this was, again, just the first round. So what I would normally do is let it dry, and the bottom is already starting to dry. You can sort of see. But I would let it dry and then come back in, and some parts you're going to have to, and some bags, you're going to have to rewash the entire section. Like I'm going to have to redo the entire, I shouldn't say redo. I'm going to have to do a full another round on this bottom panel because there's still quite a bit of spots on it. But some spots, like the back side, really wasn't bad to begin with, so I just have to do a couple of spot treatments on it, I think. Once it dries, you'll be able to tell more, where there's still spots and what needs to be cleaned again. The pocket certainly needs to be spot treated at least. And then, you literally just keep on going until you have it where you want it. And sometimes you just have to say, okay, this is the best I can get it. And sometimes it just comes up and it looks fantastic. So what I'm going to do is finish this off. It's probably going to take me another day or so to get it where I want it to be. I'm going to let it fully dry, and then I will come back and show you what it looks like. So I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. Now, it's been a couple of days, and I've done a couple more rounds of cleaning on the Neverfull, and I just wanted to show you. Now, there were some spots that just didn't come off, which was here and right here. So I've tried all of my stain products, and I think it's just that whatever had spilt on here actually took the color out of the lining in those two spots, which is why that little like white mark is still there and there. So there's nothing really I can do about those. It's just the nature of whatever had been spilled on it. But the rest, as you can see, came out fantastic. So it's all cleaned up. Most of the dark discoloration and staining and grossness is off, especially if you look on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post some before and there's not a mark here, it's just my light, but it's pretty much all clean. One little spot here didn't come up. I'm going to go ahead and turn the bag back right side out, and remember, this is a little bit of a tug of war, if you will, to flip your bag. So just, you're not, be careful, but you don't need to baby it. You're not going to rip it. You're not going to tear it. Just go slow. Sorry guys, if you hear that hum, we just had ductless central air put in, and it's really, really quiet. I can hear it. I hope you can't hear it, but we're sitting right under the unit and it just kicked on, so hopefully you don't hear the sound of like the whooshing air coming on. But here we go. The bag is now right side out, and as you can see, no damage was done to the straps, to the leather. This leather, I've got to go and condition it for the customer and fix a couple of scuffs on it, which I've showed you how to do before with the little kiwi stuff. So that still needs to be done on this. So it's not quite ready to go home, but there you can see a really dark picture, really dark idea of what the inside looks like now that it's all cleaned. I'll try to lighten that up if I can. But there you have it, and that is basically how you clean the lining on any Louis Vuitton. Like I said at the beginning, this will work on any of the interiors. If you use the Dyzolv, it is safe to use on the Alcantara because it's wool safe, so you can use it on that. I stick away from the Totally Awesome on that just because I haven't tested it, but if you try it and it works for you, test in a small spot, an inconspicuous spot like in the corner, before you go all out and spray it in. But I prefer the Dyzolv anyway. Now, just a couple things, channel notices that I want to go over. Some of you will notice I am no longer recommending the seller that I had been recommending before. I'm not going to get into it in depth, but it turns out that most other people were not having a positive experience with her, and I seemed to be the exception to the rule. So I just said that was it, and I wasn't going to recommend that person anymore, because I don't want any of my viewers to have a negative experience and then say, well, Michelle recommended her to me, so I'm just gonna take that off there. And you know, if anybody is looking for places to buy, I do still suggest using the Facebook groups. And if anybody needs some help or some links, feel free to send me a message, or you can send me a message on Etsy if it's easier to reach me there. But for any of you looking for that link, it is no longer going to be posted in my description box below. I'll still post a link to the Facebook groups and to the normal people who I refer to. Please make sure that you subscribe. I am going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to try to keep videos coming and to start filming more again. It's just been very rough this summer with things going on here at home and whatnot. So I'm going to do my best to make more videos. I know everybody wanted to see this one, so I wanted to make sure that when I came back that was the particular tutorial that I showed. And if any of you have some general ideas of what you'd like to see next, let me know. Comment below. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye!